So saying that 4K cameras are the next step, what do you think's coming after 4K?
Infinite resolution?
Infinite resolution.
Infinite resolution.
What would infinite resolution look like, you think?
I think it would be, I think we're gonna, in the future, not even too far off in the future, I see holographic movies where you can actually get up and participate in the movie with like, something like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings or big, Game of Thrones, a big battle scene.
So
It's happening all around you.
You're just like sitting in the middle of it.
Yeah, you're in the middle of it. And you can get up and there'd be a standing area too, or at the front where you can stand and be part of the film, or whoa, look out. And you'll hear sound all over the place, very much like Dolby Atmos. You can hear it all over the place. So I think the next step is holographic visuals, holographic sound with infinite resolution, meaning resolution past the point where we actually notice any quality differences. Because to me, quality differences sometimes are like splitting hairs.
Okay.
When you're like, 8-bit sound to 16-bit sound, huge difference. 16 to 24, a lot of people can't tell the difference.
So, when we're talking about the future of filmmaking, do you think we'll ever get into the area where we'll actually be filmmaking in space? Because it might be more cost effective than making the effects for filmmaking in space.
Filmmaking in space?
You think that
You really want to go to space. I mean, you mentioned it yesterday, space.
I mean, space seems like the new frontier. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, like, it'd be really difficult to shoot in
Do you
space.
think it would be difficult?
I think it'd be difficult to shoot in space.
But could it be done, you think?
Anything can be done, right? There are cameras in space right now. And there's like, space stations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, why would you want to shoot in space?
To get the real low gravity effect.
Yeah.
Zero
So
gravity.
I think it would be beyond most people's budgets. I just watched a Mayday episode where Richard Branson's test space flight failed because the operator put the I forget what they call when the wings shift a position to slow down the spacecraft as it comes back toward Earth. They put it up as it was accelerating into space. So it basically broke the ship apart. So what we have to get by is not just simulations of flights like that, but real simulations of shaking that cockpit and the G-forces and all that stuff that really affects somebody and how they're thinking. It's crew or cockpit resource management or crew resource management, where you got to understand what the people are actually going through. So I don't think we're ready for that yet. It's way beyond the budget. The insurance rates alone would just blow the budget.
Do you think space travel could be used for better things right now?
There's lots going on. Why don't we improve things on Earth rather than think, let's go to space. I want to live on the moon or Mars. Honestly, we got so many problems on Earth. Like, we could just get all the leaders of the countries together and go, why don't we all have a big chess game? Why fight with weapons? Like, just honestly, it's a waste of time. I just believe way too many people have grudges. We can't just bury the past. Oh no, there's always something in the past. Your great-grandfather upset my great-grandfather and we're fighting even though we had nothing to do with it. We're born into it. We're born into this bullshit. And part of my language, I got to be frank that I don't think we should be focusing on wasting money in space. How much does it cost to launch something in space?
A lot.
Yeah, okay. How many people could be fed with that same money?
Exactly.
A lot.
Yeah.
And homes and have houses.
How many people could you give houses to? Like, we have people living on the streets in Toronto, and people are thinking about space program.
There's children that
How
didn't
about
even
food
have breakfast or dinner
program?
last
There's
night.
people there's families and children that haven't even had breakfast and dinner and stuff.
Sad.
And we're like, let's go to space.
Yes.
Let's shoot a movie in space.
And space isn't even for
So
us.
we'll say that
Feed the
you-
people, and then let's go to space.
Now let's fix Earth first.
Let's fix Earth
And worry
with
about
all that
space.
money. How much is rocket fuel even?
Exactly.
And what's it doing to the environment?
Thank you. Our oceans are ruined.
Oceans are ruined, the plastic.
Whales are dying.
The whales are dying. We got some bad
Let's
stuff
go to
happening way
space.
down here, and we're like, let's go to space.
Okay, so we'll just say that you do not support the space idea for filmmaking
I don't support the space idea for filmmaking at the moment.
at the moment until it's just as cheap as taking the bus.
Correct.
Okay.
Can I get my bag?
How about you walk around and ask people about things that bug them? Like when people flick cigarette butts on the ground, and then, you know, when the water washes that into the sewage that gets processed and whatever, does it end up in the ocean? You know, all the plastic and stuff like that. And then
Okay.
people complain about stuff.
Yeah.
And they complain about, you know, our air is dirty and we should clean up our air and stuff like that. Yet you see people in a summer day idling their cars with diesel, idling their cars with gasoline, on their phones where the car is idling, when the weather is like not too hot or not too
Yeah.
cold. And they idle. There's a guy that idled in my garage a couple of times. This has happened where I live for 15 minutes in a garage. And then we complain people are getting sick. We're doing it to ourselves. And this just really grinds my gears. I hate to use the Family Guy thing. I love that episode. But it really just bugs me because, you know, we see problems like, oh my God, this person's got this disease or that disease and whatever. It's like, we're doing it to ourselves. Wake up, people. We're
It's
killing
everyone's
ourselves and then we're like, wow, I wonder what caused this. Oh, our crappy lifestyles, possibly? Like, don't even get me started. Okay, most times I'm nice. But when it comes to stuff like this, I'm not so nice because people just don't get it or they don't care. And then when something happens, they're like, oh, how did that happen? We know how it happened. Right? And then people go, I don't want to eat organic food. It costs too much. Well, some the chemotherapy drugs cost a lot of money too, right? So I think maybe, you know, prevent. I think the truth with disease anyways is in prevention. Get people to care a little more on the street when they're sitting there in the cars idling, like I said, or doing whatever they're doing that makes the environment worse. You know, get them to understand. Like, but people don't care. I mean, people still drink and drive, and they know it's wrong, right? So you can't. It's very difficult to so-called educate a population about something because it's like they know. A lot of people just don't care.
Yeah.
They just don't care.
No, you're right. We should make more of a point of that.
Yeah.
That people, these little things that people are ignoring,
Yeah.
should become big things.
Yeah, and then traffic stopped at construction sites for up to 10 minutes. I was stopped for 10 minutes because they were, you know, lifting something, and it was, oh, you can't drive under this because it might fall. It's like, well, make sure it doesn't fall, but let us drive under it. And you're sitting there in traffic on University or Front Street or Lakeshore for up to 10 minutes sometimes while they get this stupid thing up above. It's like, why are you doing this during rush hour when everybody is idling? How much does idling, right, cost the environment every year? One more thing, when people run red lights or when they turn when they're not supposed to turn and other cars can't now, think about, add that up daily, what the waste of exhaust in cars is. I mean, like, you know, all that stuff going into the atmosphere. When
Yeah.
people do one thing against the rules, it affects everything else. It's like a domino effect.
Well, Buck, we really appreciate your commentary on how annoying Toronto is and space travel.
No, humans.
And humans in general, because
Yeah.
this happens
I'm
everywhere.
not perfect. You know, I do stuff too, but I tend to think about it more these days.
We all have our little things. I feel like as you get older, you start to realize what's more annoying, right?
I don't want to get negative. I want to think about puppy dogs and kitty
Puppy
cats and
dogs and
sunny days and daffodils.
Yeah,
But I gotta sometimes gotta get stuff out of my system. Now that I talked to you with this interview, I feel better.
That's what this is. It's a venting interview.
It's a venting, yeah.
Just come here to vent in front of the camera.
Yeah. Why don't you get more people to vent?
Call it the vent.
The vent show.
Ventilation.
Yeah. The main
The
event.
ventilation crew.
The main event, I like
The
that.
main
vent.
event.
The vent talk show.
Something vent.
The vent off.
Vent off.
Vent off
All
talk
right.
show.
Okay.
Steam it. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Buck. Thanks
All right.
for everything. It
All
was
right.
good talking to you and your opinions on life.
All right, good luck. Puppy dogs and kitty cats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pretzels.
Pretzels.
Okay, you can.
Oh yeah, we have pretzels.